Well, hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Ames, president of BPO Media, and today I have a very special guest. We have Sam Errigo, who was just promoted to CEO and president of Konica Minolta Business Solutions. Welcome, Sam. Thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here, Patricia.
Awesome. Listen, I want to talk to you a little about your new role. How different is it than the role that you have been doing for a little while? I believe you were the COO before becoming CEO and president.
Yes. Yeah. So certainly, more added responsibility, picking up a few new functions, but a lot of it is, it's similar as, through the last year, as we've gone through the transition. I've, helped Patrick, who's now moving on into a bigger role in Japan. That's certainly going to help us here in the US. So I've been active, and really getting prepared for this role over the last year. So a little bit of change, but, business as usual.
How long have you been working at Konica Minolta?
It will be 14 years.
So you've put in some time.
Quick 14 years. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, obviously you've got a lot of experience in this company. I think, the landscape has been shifting quite a bit. We've had a lot of external events that have created some disruption in the industry, not all of it due to technology. We have geopolitical issues going on. We've had global health issues going on that have changed the way people work and have forced corporations to change the way that they do business. So Konica Minolta, no exception. Now, I'm wondering what you see as the biggest challenges for Konica Minolta right now, given this landscape that we're seeing.
Yeah. So I think we're similar in some cases to other corporations here in the US that, face similar supply chain issues. So that is and will be for the foreseeable future the number one issue that we face, getting product from our manufacturing facilities into the US. That is the top priority. As we had an event back in August of last year that caused our toner factories to shut down, which is out of my control. We're dealing with it. We are, everything is back up and running, so that's good news.
Yeah,
that if you look at priority, I've met with a couple of our largest, dealers over the last, several weeks. I spend probably half my time between toner and hardware, right? Which people would say, why would the CEO or COO of a company be at that level of detail? And the answer is because you need to be. Those are the two big issues that we face as an organization. Having a pulse on the day-to-day activity is so important and vital to our dealers and to our direct customers that you have to be engaged. And as you know, I'm a roll up the sleeve manager, and so I like to get into the details to help solve and fix these problems. So the toner situation is getting definitely much better. Hardware continues to be a challenge, not because we're not manufacturing. It really is due to supply chain.
Getting it in. So do you feel like you're a supply chain expert at this point?
Yeah, I know more about ports of entry, all of our toner numbers that I certainly should not ever have to repeat again.
Right.
But it's good. I mean, our dealers have been great through the process. They're challenged because we're impacting their business.
Of course.
And that's why we have to take this so seriously we have to make sure that we're doing everything, possible to help them with their business, ensure continuity of service, and making sure that we're engaging and listening to, the issues that they face.
So supply chain obviously is affecting not just Konica Minolta, but many other companies,
Right.
especially it seems like there's been an outsized impact on the office imaging side of things for some reason. Maybe quite a bit of that has to do with where equipment is coming from and the complex ecosystem that surrounds that, and getting supplies to the right locations and the output to
Right.
different continents and then into the dealer's hands, right? Because it's not just the shipping, the containers, the port at Long Beach, the
Right.
unions, the unloading. It's also the truckers within the country. It
Absolutely.
is incredibly complex, and I think a lot of us have learned a lot more about the supply chain than we ever had before, right? And presumably that knowledge will be useful to us later on, hopefully. I bet you never talked about toner as much as you have in the
No.
last year. But toner and ink are a very important part of our industry, and also represent for everyone a large profit margin in our
Right.
industry. And I used to work on the supply side of things, and we were kind of the redheaded stepchild of the
Right.
industry, and all of a sudden it's taking prominence. And so it's interesting to see how things kind of shift around. Other challenges that you're looking at that might be maybe for the broader industry, there's a lot of movement right now, obviously, to the cloud. There's technological disruptions. There's cybersecurity threats that seem to be increasing on a daily basis. What are you most concerned about for the industry at large as we're looking forward?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say concern, more of the opportunity to really go out and address these big issues that customers face. So cybersecurity, it's not new. Is it increasing, especially with the war going on in the Ukraine, and you watch all of these dynamics that quickly emerge. And as a company, we're certainly paying very careful attention. And if we're doing it, so are large corporations and small corporations and mid-sized corporations across the whole United States. As a matter of fact, around the world are looking at this. So, that's an opportunity that if you have technology and services that you can provide to the market, is something that, to me offers upside, either revenue, profit availability to you as an organization, and more importantly, getting better alignment with your customers and trying to move upstream, in the value chain. So that certainly is, I think, top of mind as companies look at their return to work model and philosophy. It's dynamic.
Yeah.
I was with a large dealer yesterday, and we were talking about their numbers in terms of print volume.
Yeah.
And they pulled up 3 or 4 examples of their branch locations, and their volume was up in some cases 40 to 50% up.
Wow.
Which would be counterintuitive to how people think around our industry.
Yeah.
So if you believe that print is going away, I don't think that is the case. It would have died already, right?
Yeah.
So customers are still printing. As they return back to the office, I do believe that there's pent up demand for people to get back to some type of normal work routine, and print is a part of that.
Yeah.
And whether or not it goes up or down 1 or 2%, I'm not concerned with that, because I do believe that as a corporation, if you have technologies and services that you can wrap around your multifunction products and offering, you can go gain share.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been preaching all along. Our thought process and strategy still remains intact. We're not deviating, from our strategy. We are all about business transformation. While we deal with the hardware and inventory challenges, we're focusing more on those things that are what we call DX related, and helping customers in some of these, areas around digitization, around security, whether it's cybersecurity, physical security, trying to introduce technology to help them work better, faster, and more secure environments as they transition from on-premise to cloud and cloud infrastructure. So there's a whole series of things that are available that are upside opportunity that will better serve our customers in the future, whether you're a dealer or in our direct channel.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Konica Minolta has been one of the more aggressive OEMs I've been to your dealer meetings for the last 10 years or more,
Yep.
And talking about the importance of diversification and having multiple different opportunities that you can grow and deepen and widen within your customer base. So it is interesting to watch how the recent events have just shown how important that really is.
Right.
Because just relying on one core thing, massive disruption can really impact that in a negative way if you don't have other options available to you. So you really have done a great job at making sure that the dealers know that there are these other opportunities out there, and providing the resources and the ability to look at these other product lines. You grow them if they want to. I mean, you're not forcing anyone to do anything, but you've always been really good about showing the different opportunities that are out there. I suspect that will continue. I think that will help people. The supply chain is impacting a lot of OEMs right now. So I don't, it's not an unusual conversation for anyone at this point, but that's definitely a rough one. So what are some of the first things that you're planning to do in your new role as president and CEO?
Yeah. So, some things internally focused and really bringing automation to our overall business. We have to do a better job in taking expense out like every other corporation, in America. So looking at how we run our business, bringing in talent into the organization to help us transition from some workflows today that are more intense than I would like, and then automating those functions to take expense out, i.e. it's human capital. But then, the next piece is as you remove, and I just call them these mundane things that are highly repetitive that we throw people at because we haven't fixed a process. Mm-hmm. So take those really good people and put them into areas that are high growth versus, these mundane tasks. If we do that, then we raise our talent pool. We focus on those things that are most important to our customers, to our dealers, to add better value. And, as you look at the marketplace and where we believe the expectations of customers will be in the future, the days of low touch, right? Self-serve and not offering great customer experience and service, it's just not going to cut it. And I use Amazon as an example. They do a phenomenal job from a customer experience standpoint. And I'm challenging our company to simplify our processes, have a unbelievable customer experience, whether that's at the dealer level or at our direct level. And there's a lot of things that we need to do to get to that same customer experience. So, investments in those areas are going to be critical. Also in our IT sector of the business to help not only our admin, but also our marketing. Mm-hmm. I do believe that, marketing is really now broken into two very separate categories. So one would be your core Marcom and brand management, web presence, and things of that nature. The second area will be demand gen and how you engage with your customers, the analytics, the intelligence around how you approach customers. Because today, more and more of the sale is done before a customer ever engages a sales rep. They're doing their research. So capturing and providing that customer or potential customer with more information at a faster rate to help them make a decision around Konica Minolta is in our best interest. And it will also help our dealers because of brand,
Yeah.
So those are going to be two, big areas that we're going to invest in and look at and really try to drive better automation, better processes, and better, better customer experience as they engage with our company.
That's great. I mean, it sounds to a certain extent like you're trying to modernize some of the processes within the company. We have a publication that I'm sure you're aware of called Workflow Magazine, right? So we've been writing and talking about this entire scenario that you've painted for quite a while now. I believe it's 10 years old at this point, right? Yeah. So hearing live examples of that actually going on, I mean, there's some serious pain involved in what you're talking about. That kind of transformation does not come without some pain and a lot of effort, right? Absolutely. And one of the things that we've learned is it's very people driven. Even though you're talking about automation, it's about the people. You also need that champion. You need those voices that are going to champion and hold the standard, right, as you're going through this. So absolutely. I think as you do this and you're learning from this, you're going to be able to share that also with your dealer community, because those are also the things that your dealers are going to be able to help their customers with, right? So it's pretty cool that, hopefully there's a learning transfer over and how this works in a way that can become really a product for the dealers. So I think this will be great to watch as this goes on. And there's going to be clearly some really good case examples that you're going to be able to show, but there probably are a few things that we will learn that can be done a different way.
Yeah, and we're engaging with other companies that, again, outside our industry. Right. And like you said, nothing's a perfect match, because our industry, we're not pure software, we're not pure retail, and there's a little bit of complexity as you work within our distribution model. So doing this the right way, it will be a learning experience. But we've hired a new CIO, Mike Lee, who came in, and Mike's doing a great job coming up to speed. He brings a wealth of knowledge across multiple disciplines of the business. So we're leaning heavily on Mike, and he'll help build out his core team and supporting both our admin team, our marketing team, and coming up with different technology sets that obviously allow us to move at a much quicker rate based on skill set, knowledge, and past history.
Well, it sounds like a great big project for you.
Yeah, it's a couple. That's
nothing
a little bit of heavy lifting there.
Yeah, take on a big challenge right as you come out of the gate. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So Sam, what do you see as some of the biggest opportunities for Konica Minolta going forward? We've probably touched a little bit on that. Also, as a follow-up to that, around what are you investing the most in? I think you've given us some hints from what you've already mentioned, but do you want to touch a little on that?
Sure. So, the big push for us next year, obviously, hardware is going to be a big area for us. So we are not abandoning our hardware business. Our production print business has been growing significantly. Same thing with IP. So we absolutely want to take market share. That's the first piece around the hardware portion of the business. Last I checked, it still is a great business to be in. Right. Yeah. And anyone that says it isn't doesn't know this business. There's still huge upside potential. If done correctly, service margins are still very, very good. I think all of our dealers would agree, on that point. So clearly taking share is one of the top priorities. Second to that, it's going to be grow our managed IT sector of the business. So we have to continue to grow that business, generate more profit. It's a good business to be in. It needs to be a great business. And it does take big investments to keep pace. But as you build scale with the IT sector of the business, there's absolute, big opportunity for top line as well as bottom line. But I caution dealers all the time. It's not an easy business. If you think you're just going to jump in it and make money, you will be shocked, right? Because it does take, it's people, it is technology, It is resourcing this just to
Yeah.
get started.
Right.
So we've always encouraged our dealers, before you just jump in, engage with us, learn how to sell, leverage our services, and utilize our expertise to help you start this business. And if you choose to go buy something, at least you understand what it takes to get there. And that's been our model. I'm going to continue to promote that. Many dealers have already gone out and acquired.
Yep.
And they're seeing the benefits of that.
Yep.
And how it ties in. And this is a long-term play. It's not in 30 days, all of a sudden, oh my God, you're making all this money. There's absolute work that has to go into that. So IT services will be a big play. Our IIM group that is helping with document automation and workflow and digitization. We have high expectations for growth in that area. We are partnered with now Automation Anywhere on the RPA side of the business. They're one of the leading companies. And we're hiring people with talent and a lot of expertise in this particular domain to help accelerate that portion of the business. The third piece is going to be our video services. What we call our VSS program is taking our robotics camera, and now we're going to wrap value around that using AI, and also our IIM group around the document management and capture, and looking at very specific segments of the business to help customers with on-premise security and potentially and automation for certain processes that they would have in their workflow, where a digital camera that's capturing and analyzing information can help in those work processes. And then the last component is then tying our office solution suites of software and services to the hardware. So we never want to sell just a piece of hardware. We always want to bundle together, wrap that into an agreement with our customers. And then ultimately in all of those product categories is to create a MRR stream. So do this on a monthly recurring revenue stream that has a higher level of predictability, no fluctuation. So it's protected against things like COVID, right? Because you're billing, and you have to protect that annuity stream. If you have, and I think a lot of dealers learn this, if you have volatility in that annuity stream, your business is at risk. Change your business model, move it as much as you can move to MRR with predictability. You will be better served as a company. You will have predictability in your revenue, stabilization, and then ultimately you're able to deliver that level of service that your customers are going to expect.
That's great. I mean, a lot of these concepts and movements that you're making are things that have been talked about at meetings for the last 10 years as well, right? So in the managed IT services side of things, I mean, I've watched some larger dealers go on, invest in a program, pull back off and come back in again. I mean, the time frame is that long that some have come in and come out and come back in a different way, right? None of it's easy. None of it's easy, but having an OEM behind you that's making such large investments that can help advise should be a very useful tool for a lot of dealers, right? So
we continue our, encourage our dealers to engage with us, right? We're there to help them. And our breadth and depth of services has expanded over those 10 years, which was always part of the direction and strategy. So ranging from if a customer needs help desk support, if they need, hardware, PCs, they need to have things imaged, and whether it's for school. We just did a deal yesterday for $2.5 million for 7,500 imaged MacBooks. We have a facility that specializes in just working with Mac, and you have to be certified and authorized to do that. But those are big opportunities that if we didn't invest, those dollars are not available, right? And the margins are good, right? They're not They're not unbelievably where I'm high-fiving everyone, but they're good, right? And you would take those deals all day because it adds incremental revenue.
Yeah,
It generates incremental
exactly.
profit to the bottom line, and it's volume. And if you do all these things in concert, all of a sudden you now have tapped into multiple areas within that customer. And even though this is a stepping stone, the next one is, well, great, let us help you with your help desk support.
Right.
Now let us help you with your security features, and that stack that you have, it's already there.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of working with the customer, and piece by piece you add.
Yeah.
And guess what? The last thing, they might be with a competitor on the hardware. What I do know is if you're doing high value things for the customer and you're working with the CIO, when that multi-function contract comes up, who do you think is going to get that?
Yeah.
I have a much better shot because I can do things that my competitor can't do.
Yeah.
Right. And I tie that all together, and now I put it on one contract. It's better for the customer. They have one single, provider, and you end up with the full portfolio, and these multiple entry points give you the diversification to have conversations with customers that, what, I'm not in the market today because 2 years ago, I just bought some multifunction products and they're not up for another 3 years. Well, that's okay. I just want to get in,
Right.
and I'll be around for 3 more years.
Right.
Right. And in 3 more years, I'll have the full suite of products.
Right.
That has to be part of the strategy, right? It's not if I don't get everything today, it's not a good deal. You have to be patient and, work with those customers and earn it over a period of time.
Well, and first you got to get in, or you can't
Right.
even have the conversation. So
Right.
that's a critical piece of it, obviously.
Absolutely.
And then if you do a good job, people obviously want to work with people that they have a good experience with. So the chances of more business coming your way clearly increase incrementally
Right.
in the same fashion. So, all right, great. So let's talk about a little about you personally. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, who has been your biggest work-related influence that you feel has helped you get to this stage in your career?
So I don't know if it's one person specifically. So I think, during the course of your career, there's always people that have, influenced, and more importantly, have taken a vested interest in you.
Yeah.
Right. As an individual, they see something, in you maybe that you haven't seen, and they try to pull that out. So, I don't know if there's necessarily, one specific person. I can tell you I had some great mentors while I was at Eastman Kodak early in my career that allowed me to learn a little bit about, I think, the inner drive that is required to be successful, right? I'm a type A OCD, just I have no off button. You're always on. And so I think that's just inherent to the person, that you are. So a lot of those, skills were learned through some really good mentors at Kodak.
Yeah.
And then, coming up through, various jobs, whether it was in, running marketing roles or, product management, having good leadership. The one person I would point to here would be, Rick Taylor. My experience on the dealer channel was really not, my specific background.
Right.
So, Rick is the one that really gave me the ropes around that, how dealers think, what they do, how they operate, and, shadowing him and sitting next to Rick for, 12 years.
Yeah.
You're a sponge, and you just have to absorb, everything Rick Taylor. And, but it's good. I mean, he did a good job to get me prepared for, for this role. And that's part of a mentorship program, is getting people prepared so that they are ready for the next, that next role. And I'm well prepared, and my mentors have done a good job to get me to this point.
That's great. I mean, the reality is mentors are really an important part of the career trajectory, right? Your trajectory is pretty impressive. I mean, if you look at where you are now, it's incredible, right? So those early mentors are clearly pivotal, right? So
Sure.
over at Kodak, that's great. And then most people know Rick Taylor, and has had an influence on a lot of people in this channel, right? So if you can't, if you've shadowed him for that long, you either aren't there anymore,
Right.
or you've learned a lot. So, or maybe both. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's great. Okay, thank you for that. So if your team if I asked your team, hey, can you describe Sam in 3 words or phrases? What do you think they would say about you?
So I would say engaging, inquisitive, and highly motivated.
We've learned a little bit about you in this conversation,
Yeah.
by the way. We know a little bit about the type A, which goes very well along with the motivated. So, okay, those are actually really good words. Maybe the last thing I'd like to ask you is, what are you most excited about right now?
Yeah. So, with the challenges that we face in just, this particular time with, COVID, all the disruption, I don't think, and I've done this 30, I don't know, 3 years now. And in that entire time frame, we have never been faced with these types of challenges.
Yeah.
So I think this next phase is twofold. One, making sure that as a company we come out of this strong. So that is paying close attention to how we run the business, how we service our customers, and ensuring that we as a company continue to be the company that our dealers and our customers expect. That would be the first thing. The second thing coming out of this is to strengthen our overall team, whether it's on the direct side, dealer side. It's bringing in talented people to help us with the business transformation. We have to move at a faster pace, and that's going to take people that have the same level of passion and motivation. This is not an easy business. It can be an unbelievably rewarding business if you love it.
Yeah.
And I tell my management team, I tell our sales reps, depending on where you are in your career, if you're early in your career and you don't love what you do, you should go do something different.
Yeah.
So I wake up every day. I love this industry. I love what I do. I'm motivated to drive success for the company. So that would be another big area for me personally.
Uh-huh.
And then I think, lastly, as we look at business transformation, really setting this up for the next 5 years with the right acquisitions, with the team behind it to execute on all cylinders. If we do that, this will be a great place to work. We will have employees that are motivated to drive growth in our company and best serve, our customers and dealers.
That's great. I mean, I love the focus on laying down as a new foundation that's going to stage you for this next rotation, whatever we're doing, rolling out of what we've just been through, which I feel like is trial by fire.
Right.
But you're willing to do the hard work, so it's kind of refreshing to hear this, because some of this stuff is some would say boring, and it's just a lot of hard work, but
Sure.
I think it is going to really set you up for what comes next. And I do think what comes next is a lot of opportunity. So there's a lot of passion there. I really thank you for your time. It's been an enlightening interview, and also very engaging, which I believe is one of your 3 words. So thank you, Sam, for spending time with us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I believe you have a dealer summit coming up.
We do, coming up end of April.
So excited about that. So thank you very much, Sam.
Right. Thanks, Patricia.